What's going on, YouTube, man? It's your boy CJ, the Gym Slasher, back at it again. I appreciate you guys for showing up, man. Hit the like, hit the subscribe, hit a heart notification. Just give me unconditional love, and I'll give it right back. Without further ado, let's go ahead and dive right into it. You read the thumbnail. Be the 5 to 10% trainer, right? What does that mean? What do I mean by that? Am I devaluing us as trainers, as coaches, as mentors? No. It's quite the opposite. That 5 to 10% is very valuable for the people that you're training, the team that you're coaching, the players that in terms of individual or a group. That 5 to 10% is paramount, but it still is 5 to 10%. The rest of it is the athlete. Now that kind of goes without saying, and a lot of people go, well, especially a lot of trainers that may be looking at this, or athletes is looking at this going, yeah, we know it's us, right? But it's also important that we explain the 5 to 10% trainer and the 90 to 95% athlete, right? Why is these two important for each other? I'm an advocate off the bat that you definitely need that important trainer, that skilled trainer or coach, because what they can unlock it if they know what they're doing. They can unlock it at a faster rate than yourself can, right? We can be self-taught, right? We can watch somebody else and self-teach ourselves to do just about anything. And our own ancestors taught themselves how to do things, and then they got refined. And as they got older, they did what? They trained the younger group on how to do it. And typically what happens is they do it at a more efficient rate, at a faster rate, because someone that did do it knew what it took to get it done. And now the newer group, right, that's learning, they're teaching them the things that they known at an older age. Now they're teaching the youth at a younger age. So that's the importance of having a coach, having a trainer, having a mentor to give you some insight on things to help you get through it a little bit quicker, and then on top of that, a little bit more efficient. However, the work that's needed is still needed from the athlete, from the trainee, right? I use this example often. I get into debates with a lot of my friends and stuff. With Phil Jackson, I feel, in my opinion, in terms of NBA and just coaching all around in terms of sport, but particularly in the NBA, Phil is the greatest coach of all time. And to me, it's not even close. That's my opinion, right? We can get into that debate at another time, at another story, in another field. But why I feel that he's number one is because the same things that people kind of say, well, he had Michael Jordan, he had Shaq, he had Kobe, he had Pau Gasol, he had these greats, and that's how he won. And heck, I can do that, or I could have got out there and coached, or people say those things. And when you get into this coaching, you get into the coaching world, you get into the training world, you really understand. You finally understand that it takes a lot of work to navigate elite players, and to tell them that you still haven't unlocked certain doors yet to your own talent. When you're telling an already all-star caliber player, already an all-pro, all NBA, MVP player, that you haven't still unlocked your talent. For one, it takes the amount of fortitude to say that to those elite athletes is one thing. The second, but it's a whole nother thing to get them to go, you know what? I think you're right. For them to humble themselves and all their own individual accolades, for a coach to buy into a coach saying, you're right. Can you help me unlock the rest of those doors, right? Our jobs as trainers, his job as Phil Jackson, as the coach, His job was to unlock that door and then point him to that door and say, that's the door you need to go through. As a trainer, we can't open those doors. Phil can't open that door for him, but he can show him and he can unlock it. But it's the athlete's job to go through it. When you see Phil, none of them had NBA championships. Those Hall of Fame players, Kobe's, Jordan's, Pippen's, Shaq's, Paul Gasol's, no championships. Other coaches had them. They've been to, conference finals or conference or semifinals or finals themselves, right? Or getting bounced in the playoffs early, right? But Phil come in and then all of a sudden he's winning not only championships, but consecutive championships. Three-peat with the Bulls from, 91 to 94. Come back, win another triple from 96 to 98. Then take the Lakers and do a three-peat with them. Then come back, retire, come back, take them to another 3 finals and win 2 out of that. It's the same players. These players were being coached by everyone else, but somehow when Phil gets involved in that, he's finding a way to do what? He's unlocking these things that are in these athletes' mind and their physical and unlocking that talent. That's what he's doing. And it takes an enormous amount of skill set to learn how to navigate your athlete, your team, those players, how to find and locate those doors and then say, okay, that's the one you need to unlock. Okay, that's the one. And then to get the buy-in from that athlete, whether they're elite or they're work in progress. But that buy-in is so paramount. But it's still, even at the end of the day, it's still that 5 to 10%. The rest of them is the Jordan. The rest of them is Kobe. The rest of them is Shaq. The rest of them is Paul Gasol and the rest of the teams that was on those teams, right? It's still them. Phil is just more, here you go, right? As us as trainers is going, this is still you. We're just guiding and showing you and unlocking what you already had in you. I use another example that always stuck in my mind. His name was Kevin Wesley. He's been on YouTube. He has several channels. I think now he has like the Truth Factory. I just want to cite my source because this didn't come from me, but I thought it was so profound. I heard this years ago on one of his channels. So he may not ever reach this, and somebody that know him may reach this and say, hey man, the Gym Slasher shout you out and stuff. So shout out to him. That being said, he gave this example of a tree. And I may butcher this example, so I apologize in advance if people know this or have heard of this even before what I'm saying. But how he explained it is, you think of, and I'm making up a tree. He might have said some other tree, but if you look at an oak tree, right, and the size of that oak tree and its immaculate natural beauty and as tall as it is and the leaves and how it just could take over an area when that oak tree grows to its full potential. We tend to forget that tree was once a seed. That was it. It was just a small seed. It had everything it needed in that seed to be that oak tree. Everything. However, in order for that seed to come to a baby tree, then a teenage tree to an adult tree, an adult oak tree, right? It required some assistance. It needed nutrients or water, sun, and not to be trampled on as it's growing, not to be pulled out while it's growing, right? Certain things needed to take effect for that tree to get to its size, strength, and then its immaculate beauty at the end of the day to the point where it's full grown and living for 100-something years, right? If left alone. What is the 5%? That 5 to 10% was nature, right? Or if you got an oak tree seed, it's going to be you, but you'll quickly find out there's not a whole lot you need to do other than make sure it just don't get trampled on. The water is going to grow, right? As long as it's in its right environment. And I don't want to get too technical with it, but those have to happen. But that 5 to 10% is nature. That 5 to 10% is you. The rest of it is the oak tree, right? But what you did was so important for that oak tree growth. Your 5 to 10% is important. It's vital because it was able to grow at an efficiency, protected. So you see what benefit it has to have that training, to have that nurturing, right? To have that that way to gear that oak tree to make sure that it's growing properly, that it's not growing over somebody else's property, that it's not damaging other houses or other trees or things like that. But at the end of the day, it's still the tree, still the oak tree, still got to grow, right? So I just want to have that in the mindset as you as a trainer, as you as a teacher, as you as a coach, right? You are the 5 to 10%. Unlock, help that youth or help that athlete, help that trainee, right? Help them unlock that. Show them the door and unlock the door. That's all we can do. After that, it's up to them to open it, and it's up to them to see that talent, to enjoy that. And then as we continue, if we're allowed to continue with them on their path, we're just keeping them locked in on those untapped talents and how to hone in and keep it going, right? So with that being said, I appreciate you guys. Love you guys. Keep supporting me. Keep liking and subscribing and watch me grow. And I'm continue to grow, but I love you guys for real. All right. Who are you? What is your mission? It's your boy, the Gym Slasher. Peace.